Noticing how the spine is feeling this morning. If you feel like you're really slouching, then that's another cue to maybe bring yourself a little bit higher onto whatever props or supports you're using this morning. And the idea here is to have a nice tall spine without too much effort, right? We're not over-efforting. We're just bringing awareness into the spine, into the body as we start to come into our practice. And as you watch the breath moving in and out, on each exhalation, allowing the shoulders to soften away from the neck, and release your neck away from your head, part your teeth, relax your tongue. Just letting it rest in the bottom of the mouth. And we're going to do some therapeutic movement this morning. Really a full body practice. Coming into the shoulders and the hips. And I'm going to invite you guys to use a Sama Vritti breath this morning. Sama Vritti breath is an equal inhalation to exhalation. So we've done many times, many practices where we've done a 1 to 2 breath, where we've taken 1 count to inhale and then 2 counts to exhale, basically lengthening on the exhalation. This morning, I'm going to invite you to make the breath equal. So if it takes you 2 counts to inhale, take 2 counts to exhale. And this is not easy because we're very used to, particularly in our yoga practice, to extend on exhalation. And now just for a few more breaths, try to even out your inhalation and your exhalation without bringing any struggle or tension around the breath. And it may just be a 1 count in and a 1 count out. Those of you that use Ujjayi breath, where we constrict the throat on exhale, I might suggest letting up on that a little bit so that you can keep the inhalation and exhalation even. When we use Ujjayi, it slows down the exhalation. So just playing with that perhaps a little bit too this morning. A few more breaths here. Good, and then on your next exhale, release that Sama Vritti, 1 to 1 breath, and just let your breath adjust. Let your chin release towards your heart, gently blink your eyes open and lift your head. Good morning. So we'll straighten out our legs out in front. And you can bring your hands to the top of your right leg and just get your right leg moving back and forth, starting to release the sleeve of the leg. It's not easy to do 1 to 1 breath, is it? It takes a lot of concentration.
I had to stop halfway through because it was...
Yeah, it gets a little bit, yeah. So Dave was saying how he had to stop halfway through because it got a little bit of a struggle, switch sides. That's exactly the right thing to do. We never want to force or try to will the breath into doing what it doesn't want to do. You kind of step away from the breath, let it adjust, and then maybe come back in. Good, cross your right leg over your left. Interlace fingers and toes. So I'm taking my left hand to the bottom of my right foot and just opening up the toes. What's nice about the Sama Vritti breath is it's very equalizing for the brain. So it's just like we're doing alternate nostril breathing. You're breathing in and out equally, which balances the left and the right hemispheres of the brain. So you guys will find as we practice today that your movements will slow down quite a bit. Separate your fingers nice and wide. Remove your fingers, draw your foot towards you. Press away. And then holding the foot, give the toes a little twist and turn, opening up the joints of your toes. You'll find your movements will slow down and the mind will get quiet, because it takes a lot of focus to keep that equal inhale to exhale. And once you finish massaging and working your toes, we'll come into the foot and massage the foot out. Spend some time on the ball of your foot. Is it your right hip,
Yeah.
Terry? So
Yeah.
if this is too much on the hip, you can always just massage this way.
Okay.
So if you guys have hip stuff, you can always just massage the foot, keeping it this way. So just be mindful of that.
So far, it feels okay.
So far, okay, good.
Yeah.
Working your way around the foot. Eventually coming up to the big toe side and little toe side of the foot. Hold the foot, shake your foot out. Good, and then we'll rub the foot out. And your foot is back up. Good, we'll switch over to the other side. Just notice the difference between your two sides. I'm just trying to make some space between the toes. If you can't get all 5 fingers or 4 fingers in there, just one counts. Especially if you've never done this before, it takes a while to open up the foot, get used to the tissue. Tissue doesn't want to soften. Good, separating your fingers nice and wide. Remove your fingers, draw your foot towards you, press away. And then holding the foot, giving the toes some attention, a little twist and turn in both directions, maybe even a gentle pull onto the toes. And then we'll massage the foot out, spending some time on the ball of your foot. And then working your way around the foot. Eventually coming back up to the big toe side and little toe side of your foot. Hold onto your foot, shake your foot out. Good, and then rub your foot out. And good, finding your tennis ball. We'll roll out our feet. I'm dreading the tennis ball today, you guys. I started lifting again, and I haven't lifted like 3 weights in probably 2 years.
Oh.
And I did legs yesterday. And I really don't want to sit on this tennis ball this morning. So if you hear me scream.
Well, you are the instructor, you could skip it.
No, I'm not skipping it.
I'm not encouraging it.
Switch sides. Dave thinks I should skip it. I think he's saying that because he wants to skip it.
Don't project.
Okay, here we go. So if you're up on a blanket, come off your blanket. This is really good for your hip. Straighten your legs out in front. Lean to your left. Find your right sitting bone. It's this big bone right at the bottom of your tush. And you're going to sit right on top of the tennis ball with this bone. It's going to feel lopsided. Press into your hands and shift your hips from left to right. So you're coming into the inside and then the outside of your sitting bone, staying on the right side. If it's not comfortable for your wrists or your shoulders, you can grab your blocks and make your arms a little bit longer. Good, and then bend your knees. And now we're going to come front to back. So sliding into the meat of your tush, right over the sitting bone and into the hamstring attachment, back and forth here. Breathing.
Smile.
Smiling, breathing.
Relax the mouth.
Relax. Yes, thank you, Dave. Relax your tongue. Blah, 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 blah.
Great, Ocean.
Yeah, okay, now shifting back just enough so the tennis ball is in front of your right sitting bone. You're not sitting on it now, it's just wedged against the bone. Straighten your right leg, bring your hand to the top of the right leg, and we'll come into this nice rotation here. Breathe. Good, and then take your tennis ball out and sit and just pause here for a moment. Notice if your right leg got a little bit longer than your left. Mine definitely did. And then we'll do the other side. First, sitting on the tennis ball, pressing into your hand, shifting left to right a couple times. And then bending your knees, coming front to back, breathing here. It's the butt, it's your butt that just, I know, TMI. Good, eventually shifting back just enough so the tennis ball is in front of your left sitting bone. Straighten your left leg. Bring your hand to the top of the left leg and get the left leg moving back and forth. Softening the tissue, the attachments that come in from your hamstring and your pelvic floor into this bone. Good. And then release. Have a seat. Toes pointing up towards the ceiling. We'll be here just for a second. If you'd like, you can come up onto your blanket. It might be a little bit more comfortable, again, for the hips and the spine. And we'll sweep arms up. Inhale. Exhale and lower the arms. Good, couple more. Good, let's take a full body stretch, sweeping arms up, inhale, interlace your fingers, reach your palms up. If this is too much for your shoulders, you can just reach straight up, keeping the arms a little bit wider, leaving more space for your shoulders. Breathe here. And then release, really reach as you lower your arms, hands interlaced behind your back, or again, just bringing fingertips to the floor is nice, keeping the shoulders nice and open. Deep breath into the heart center, chin is level with yes, looking out over the horizon. Good, and release, roll your shoulders out, give yourself a little pound out. This would be some nice therapeutic movement for the spine and also will help with that 1 to 2 breath that we're playing with today. Good, so coming onto your backs. And you might like to have a support underneath your head, just a little bit of support. And depending on how this feels on your spine, you can either be laying straight on the floor. If you feel any discomfort in your low back, keep your knees bent, feet on the floor. And just pause here for a moment and really let the whole surface of the back of your body get heavy and be supported by the floor, particularly the hips. Feel the front of the hips soften. You might even bring your hands to the hips, the front of the hips, and just let them soften here. I grip my hips all the time, so as soon as I put my hands on here, I can feel that little bit of tension in the hips, and it just helps me to soften and let them get heavy. But whether your legs are straight on the floor or knees bent, feet on the floor, we're going to start to breathe here. Sweep your arms up overhead. Let them rest on the floor behind you. As you exhale, lower your arms back down by your sides. We'll do that one more time, and then we'll come into that Sama Vritti breath. Equal inhale to exhale. Do 3 more on your own. Moving at your own cadence, your own pace. We're all going to be moving at different times. Keep allowing the back of the body to be soft. When you finish your last one, arms will come down by your sides and just, again, feel very supported by the earth.
Good, next one, knees bent, feet on the floor for this one. Inhale here as you exhale, draw your knees into your heart, give yourself a hug. And as you inhale, bring your feet to the floor, sweep your arms up overhead, let them rest on the floor behind you. One more time, exhale, draw the knees in, give them a hug. Inhale, arms come up overhead, feet come back down to the floor. Good, 3 more, just like that.
Come back into your Sama Vritti breath. Keep your knees bent the whole time, Dave. Bring your feet straight to the floor. Yes, that's it. So keep your knees bent the whole time, guys. When you finish your last one, pause, arms by your side. Again, letting the body settle.
Good, this time, inhale here. As you exhale, draw the knees into the heart. You're gonna keep the hands on the knees. As you inhale, straighten your arms, keep your hands on your knees so you're getting a nice stretch in the space between your shoulder blades. And then exhale, draw the knees in. 3 more. The inhale, the arms extend. You might even feel that big stretch between these shoulder blades. And then the exhale, everything moves in. Sama Vritti breath, keep your head on the floor.
Relax your face. Keep the head on the floor. Try not to let the chin move up towards the ceiling as you draw the knees in. You finish your last one, feet can come back down to the floor. You can straighten the legs if that's comfortable for your back. And then settle. Good.
Last 2 in this series. Again, the legs can be straight or feet on the floor if it's comfortable for your back, for the knees to be bent. We'll sweep the right arm overhead, let it rest on the floor behind you. As you inhale, extend your right arm away. So really stretch out through the shoulder. As you exhale, just soften the arm, keep it overhead, resting on the floor behind you. 3 more of those. The inhale, you find extension and really stretch, spread the fingers wide. On the exhale, just let the arm soften where it is. Sama Vritti breath. 2 more. When you finish your last one, bring your right arm down by your side and just let it get heavy, staying fully supported by the earth. Good, we'll do the other side. Left arm will come up overhead. We'll come right into this one. Inhale, extend. On the exhale, soften. 2 more. Knowing you can always release that equal inhale to exhale if the breath begins to struggle. No struggle around the breath. You finish your last one, arms come back down by your side, pause. Good, sweeping both arms overhead. Now we're going to do the same thing, but reaching through both arms. 3 times, extending on inhale, softening on exhale. No tension in the throat or the face. Don't overexert here. Arms will come down by your sides when you're complete.
Good, preparing for dynamic bridge pose, bending your knees, placing your feet onto the floor. If you've got support under your head, you might want to take it down a notch. Arms are by your sides.
When your feet are comfortably close to your sitting bones, press down into your feet, lift your hips, sweep your arms up overhead, letting them rest on the floor behind you. Exhale and lower, excuse me, everything back down. 3 more Sama Vritti breath. You finish your last one, arms are down by your sides once again. Keeping your arms by your sides here, we're going to come into bridge and do a fascial stretch for the space between the shoulder blades. Feeling both feet into the floor, keep your arms by your sides, press down into your feet, lift your hips. And then you'll reach your arms up towards the ceiling, keeping them at least shoulder width apart for a moment. Palms are facing each other. And now interlace your fingers without flipping the hands. The palms are facing down towards your nose. You're looking at the palms of your hands. Backs of your hands are up towards the ceiling, and you're going to stay this way as we start to lower. So slowly start to lower down, reaching the back of your hands up towards the ceiling. You'll feel your shoulder blades coming off the floor. Relax your face, keep reaching, reaching, reaching. Go down super slow, reach, reach, reach. When you come in for your landing, relax your arms and breathe. We will do that one more time. Find your bridge, lifting the hips. Arms will come up. Interlace the fingers. As you reach the back of the hands, reach up towards the sky. Slowly lower. I'm really tucking my pubic bone towards my heart here too. I'm trying to get each vertebra of the spine to touch the floor by itself, one at a time. It's not happening, but I'm trying to bring awareness there. Keep reaching, 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 and then when you come in for your landing, relax and breathe. Draw your knees into your heart, hug your knees into your heart, and maybe take some hip circles here, make some movement. We're going to eventually end up on our tabletop pose. Maybe you're going to rock front to back and get yourself up to tabletop. However you want to get there, onto hands and knees. We'll meet together on hands and knees, tabletop pose. If you have mature knees, you might want to put a blanket or a towel underneath your knees. And then from your tabletop pose, starting to find some movement now, bringing movement into the spine, any type of shape. Maybe it's a cat-cow. Maybe you're barrel rolling the chest, just breathing normally here. Not thinking about the Sama Vritti breath. And when you feel complete and you're ready to come up into downward facing dog, no rush, turn your toes under. Find Adho Mukha, downward facing dog. And as you come into your first dog pose, it's pedaling the feet, maybe wagging your tail a little bit. If you've got issues in the wrists and you can't hold dog pose for too long, it might be more comfortable to come into a puppy pose where you're bringing the elbows to the floor, keeping the hips over the knees, and then reaching into a puppy. So it's a little baby dog pose. Good, inhale here, we'll come down into child's pose. We're gonna move through our dog pose, child's pose flow. As you inhale to tabletop, take it back, downward facing dog. Coming back to fours and then child's pose. Here we go with our Sama Vritti breath, guys. We're bringing a little bit more movement into the body, staying with that equal inhale to exhale. Not as easy, but just playing with it. The next time you find yourself in downward facing dog, hold your dog pose. Are you slipping a lot, Terry?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Why do I slip on here?
Is it a yoga mat?
Yeah, I think so. It's actually my mother's.
So if you want, you can grab a strap and place it long widthwise on your mat and use your heels of your hands on your strap.
Okay.
Here you go.
It says mantra on it. Oh, thank you. I assume it is.
Good. From your dog pose, let's come forward to high plank. Knees can be up or down here. Good. Exhale, take it back, downward facing dog. Moving through plank to dog pose, finding Sama Vritti breath here. Knowing you can always skip the plank and just hold in your dog pose. Is that better, Terry?
Yes.
Good. See if you can walk your hands away from your feet a little bit, Terry, to create a little bit more space between your hands and feet. Good, relax your head.
So walk my hands up.
Yeah. It's very difficult because I can't walk around the studio. Good, next time you come to plank, lower down, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga dandasana. We're coming into our little flow here, coming into baby cobra or upward facing dog. On your exhale, take it back, downward facing dog. If you'd like to come through a couple rounds of your flow, go for it. Maybe working and playing with Sama Vritti breath, even in the vinyasa. When you feel complete in your flow, we'll meet and take a little break in child's pose. Take your time, no rush. I'm watching everybody at home as well. Good, let's inhale to fours. Take your time if you're still finishing up, no rush. Exhale, we'll meet in downward facing dog, just transitioning up to the top of our mats here. So coming into downward facing dog. Walking your feet up to your hands into your forward fold, Uttanasana, soft knees here. Really letting the head go, letting your shoulder girdle go. Let's bring the hands up the back of the legs, coming halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale and then fold. Do 3 more using Sama Vritti breath here. Coming back to our equal inhale to exhale. Notice how this slows the movement down. It might not necessarily slow it down, but depending on your breath. Good, come up halfway and pause. We're going to do a little movement with the shoulders here. You might just stay here with hands on hips. You're coming with me. Extend your arms in line with your ears. This is a big stretch for the shoulders and the upper back. That's why we did that fascial release earlier. As you inhale, bend the elbows, squeeze your shoulder blades together. I'm bending my knees a lot to keep this out of my low back. Exhale, extend the arms. Inhale, extend the arms, straight, stretch and reach. Exhale, elbows bend, shoulder blades on back of the body. Do 2 more, maybe with the Sama Vritti breath. We're working big here. Good, hold, squeeze your shoulder blades together, relax your face, bring your hands to your hips, press into the earth, come all the way up to standing. Good. Finding Tadasana mountain pose. If you're using blocks or have books for your hands, we can bring those up to the front of the mat. We'll use those in a moment. And I'm going to keep my blanket close by as well. Good, feeling your feet into the floor. Let's just get the arms moving. Sweeping arms up, inhale. And lower the arms. Find your Sama Vritti breath here. Two more. Pause here. Let's sweep arms up. We'll come into a side body stretch. Hold on to your left wrist. Reach up as you inhale. Exhale over to the right. Got the alien cocoon hitting you, Dave?
Got me. That's because I'm trying to stay in the line.
I know. Good, come on back up to center. Change hands, reach up first. On the exhale, take it to the left. Nice big breaths into the right side of your body here. Good, come on back up. Interlace your fingers, reach your palms up towards the ceiling. Maybe look up, full body stretch. And then release, hands come behind your back. Interlace and reach the knuckles straight down towards the floor. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Good, lovely. And then release, roll your shoulders out. We're gonna come into eagle arms. Let's bring arms parallel to the floor. Palms are facing up. Bend at your elbows. And then bring your right elbow inside your left. You might just be here. Maybe you go for the full cross, but this is pretty intense on the shoulders. Maybe you just have one hand up or down if you feel any pinching in the shoulders. As you come into this, be mindful that you're not poking your butt out and your ribs out, because the ribs are going to want to poke out. Move your tailbone down, mid-ribs draw down and in. And on your inhale, broaden through the collarbones. Feel this nice stretch in the space between your shoulder blades. Good, and then bring hands to the tops of the shoulders. Sweep your arms up and let them go. Good, separate your feet and we'll just shake it out here. And let's come into the other side, finding feet hip width distance apart again, coming into our mountain pose. Arms come parallel, bending at the elbows. This time, the left elbow comes inside the right. And again, you can go for the twist. Find your best version where you're not really tweaking the shoulders, being gentle always with your shoulders. 3 more breaths here, maybe trying the Sama Vritti breath in this big stretch. When you finish your third one, hands will come to the tops of the shoulders, arms sweep up. And let's take a forward fold, soft knees. We're coming into our half sun salutation here. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, unfold. Arms out to the sides, all the way up. And then take it down again, swan diving towards the earth. Halfway lift. And fold. Here we come, guys. 3 more Sama Vritti breath. Try to keep breathing through your nose as best you can. If the Sama Vritti gets aggravating, then skip it. We'll meet palms together over heart center. Everybody's going to be finishing at a different time. Don't rush. Good. Sweeping arms up. Interlace your fingers, tent your fingers, so we're letting the pointer finger move up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, tip over to the right. Come on back to center. Exhale to the left. Let's do that one more time. Back to center. Side flexion, so good for the spine. Back to center. Last one. Back to center. Hold here. Inhale, reach. Exhale, bend the elbows. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift. Let's take it back, downward facing dog. Floating your right leg up, reach it straight back behind you to start. And then really lift the leg, bend the knee, and open your hip. Nice hip opener here, guys. You can stay quiet in the hip, or maybe do some hip circles. Whichever feels better for you. When you feel complete in your hip opener, square your hips, keep reaching your right leg back, and on your own time, on an exhale, step your right foot forward, find your lunge. Sometimes you have to grab your ankle, kicking and screaming up to the front of your mat. That's okay. Good, and let's all bring our left knee down to the floor for a moment and just take a look at your right leg. Make sure your right knee is directly over your right ankle. Good, and now turn onto the ball of your back foot. Reach through your heel and come into your lunge, staying nice and low into your lunge. Be careful with this one, Terry. You can stay just like that. Yeah. Good, breathing here. Just holding this first lunge for a few breaths. Hands can stay on your blocks, or you can extend the arms. Maybe playing with Sama Vritti here, not easy when we're working. Maybe it's just one-to-one. Good, release, step it back, downward facing dog. Walk it out. And we'll come into the hip opener on the other side, lifting the left leg up. Reach it straight back to start. I'm getting nice and long in my body before lifting the leg up and bending the knee and opening the hip. So we're staying nice and length and long in the spine. Staying quiet or moving the hip here, whatever feels better. When you feel complete in the hip opener, you'll square your hips. And then on an exhale, stepping the left foot forward into your lunge. Knowing you can always bring the back knee down first, Get yourself set up well. Make sure your blocks are on your mat, Terry.
Oh.
Yeah, so that way no face planting in my class. I can't monitor you guys at home. If you face plant at home, I can't. Good, so staying here with the knee down or coming into your straight leg lunge. Make sure you're breathing. And it's kind of an open invitation at this point, since you guys have the Sama Vritti breath in your psyche and your mind, to bring it in, even if I don't cue it. Arms can stay up or down. Keep breathing. Good, and then let's take it back, downward facing dog. Optional to come through around a flow here. Always optional to come through your flow. Eventually walking your feet up to your hands into Uttanasana, soft knees in your forward fold. Halfway lift. Exhale and release. Let's come all the way up. Palms together, over heart center. We're going to add to this, coming a little bit more into the hips. Inhale, sweep up. So coming up to the front of your mat as you flow. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift. Take it back, downward facing dog. We're going to come into that figure 8 kind of plank flow thing that we've done in class before. We'll come up, back to the right leg, float your right leg up, reach it straight up towards the ceiling. This is optional. If it's too much, hold in dog pose or just come into child's pose. Bend your knee, open your hip. We're going to make a figure 8 shape with the knee. So as you come forward, sweep the right leg out and cross over the body into the left elbow. Bring the knee to the right elbow and then sweep it back up. Figure 8 here. 3 more. Left elbow, right elbow, sweep it back up. Keep breathing. Isn't this fun? Good. When you finish your last one, keep the leg lifted, reach it straight back behind you, and then on an exhale, step your right foot forward. Find your lunge. We're going to bring the back knee down to the floor and prepare for a deeper lunge here. You might want to place a blanket underneath your knee and then release your left knee down to the floor. I'm going to bring my blocks to the inside of my right foot or my hands or my books. And then walk your right foot way out to the right. Bring your left knee down to the floor, Terry. Yes. Good. From here, start to roll. I don't want you to do this one, Terry. You stay with the foot on the floor. Start to roll onto the pinky toe side of your right foot. And so you're doing a big external rotation of your right hip. Flex your toes up towards your knee. So we're protecting the knee, we're protecting the hip by bringing some muscle energy in here. And you can stay here or start to come a little bit deeper into your lunge. Maybe you have elbows on your blocks at their lowest setting. Maybe your blocks are up at their higher setting. Maybe you're just keeping the arms straight. Breathing where you are. Come into that Sama Vritti breath. Take 3 breaths here. If you're low and deep into the lunge, make sure you're not looking back behind you at your belly. You're looking straight down at the floor. Good. If you're in the low lunge, bring your hands back to your blocks, to the floor. Come back onto the foot. And then we're gonna walk the foot in a little bit and come into half split, Ardha Hanumanasana. Good, inhale here as you exhale, shift your hips back. You can let the toes come up on your right foot. Feel like a nice stretch through the back of the leg. Inhale, come on forward again, low lunge. Good, moving dynamically, you'll have a chance to hold it. You can stay there, Marianne, if you want.
I think that would feel better.
Well, move dynamically first, yeah. So Marianne was going right into a full split because she's a badass. But it's actually better to move a little bit first because you're letting your body catch up with what your brain's asking it to do, right?
Yes.
Good, now we'll shift back and come in and hold. If you'd like to come into a full split, now's the time. Otherwise, we're just flexing the right foot, powerfully flexing the toes on the right foot, really bringing the hamstrings into the party here, and maybe folding over your front leg. Good, eventually coming back into your low lunge. We're gonna come into a quad stretch here, guys. We'll walk the right foot out once again. Hands to the inside of the right foot and start to bend your left knee. And you may just bend the knee and this might be enough. Flex your left foot. If you want to try and go for the foot, keep drawing your left heel in towards your butt, sweep your left arm around and find the top of your left foot with your left hand. Good. If you can't get the foot, then just give yourself a little twist. You might just be here. You guys in the studio could be twisting towards the mirror as you reach your left arm back behind you. If you've got the foot, start to draw the foot in towards your tush. So it's just a big quad stretch. Drawing the heel in towards your tush. Make sure you're breathing. If your hamstring cramps up, that means your central nervous system is waking up. That's a good thing. Good, we'll be here for about 10 more minutes. Good, let's release, guys. Nice work.
Never gets old.
I know, it never gets old, doesn't it? I've been saying it for 15 years, it still gets a laugh. Okay, step back, downward facing dog. It's from my teacher, Jenny Otto. She used to say that to us all the time. It always got a laugh. Good, optional to come through your flow. We're gonna come into the other side. If you wanna come through your flow, go for it. If you need a little breather, take a child's pose. Now you know what the series is gonna be on the other side. Stay with your breath. Okay, everybody come into child's pose and take a breather. Everybody's down in the studio. That means you guys want to come down at home too. So let's take a little breath here. That figure 8 thing with the knee is hard. Okay, let's rock and roll. Inhale to fours. Exhale, downward facing dog. Float your left leg up, reach it straight back behind you. Bend the knee, open the hip. Remember, you can skip this. Inhale here as you exhale. Start to bring left knee to right elbow. Sweep it over to the left elbow and back up. So think about making a big figure 8 with your knee. Do 2 more. Keep breathing. Eventually we'll meet in our lunge, stepping the left foot forward, finding your lunge. Good, once you have your lunge, we'll release the back knee down and prepare for that deeper hip opener, bringing your hands, your blocks, or your books to the inside of your left foot, walking your left foot out to the edge of the mat. And then flexing the foot, rolling out onto the pinky toe side of your left foot. Yeah, good. Then you might stay here, or you might lower down into a deeper lunge. Keep flexing your toes up towards your knee. Lift those toes, Dave.
Look, lift them for me.
I think we need to do some toe exercises. We used to do them a lot. Sama Vritti breath. Take 3 more. When you finish your 3rd breath, we'll start to release and come out. Bringing the foot to the floor, walking it in a bit. We're going to come into that half split Ardha Hanumanasana. Taking it back as you exhale. Bringing it forward on the inhale. 3 more. And then you'll hold on your last one, optional to come into a full split, or just holding, toes pointing up towards the ceiling, really flexing the foot to fire up the back of the leg as you hold or fold over your left leg. Good, eventually making your way back into your lunge. And we're going to come into that stretch for the quad. Starting to bend your right knee this time. Same thing here. You might just lift the foot, lift the body, and reach towards the back of your mat, the studio, or maybe go and find your right foot. If you've got the right foot, start to draw your right heel towards your tush, really feeling the stretch into the quad. If this is uncomfortable for the knee, don't do it. Good, and then slowly, wherever you are, release. Find your flow, yogis. Good, well, take 3 breaths as you make your way back into downward facing dog before walking your feet up to your hands, into your forward fold. Take your time getting there. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, unfold. Press down into your feet, come all the way up. Palms together, over heart center. Good, let's separate the feet and swing it out. How's everybody doing? Good, okay. Okay, we're going to come into some standing poses. Let's do pyramid pose first, since we've been doing a lot of folding over the extended leg. So coming up to your mountain pose, feet are hip width distance apart. Have your blocks somewhat close to you in case you need them. Good, sweeping arms up. Exhale, lower your arms. Bring your hands to your hips. Step your right foot back, and you're not coming way back, you're just taking a small step. Toes on your right foot are pretty much pointing towards the front of your mat. They might be a little bit at an angle, but you want your hips to be nice and square here. You can either keep your hands at your hips or sweep arms up overhead. Inhale here. As you exhale, come over halfway. Here's that halfway forward fold we did at the beginning of class. Again, you might just be here, hands at the hips. Feel your feet into the floor, press into the earth, stand up. Let's do 2 more. Exhale halfway. Press into the earth, come up. Good, and then we'll come over and hold. You can just stay here and hold, do 3 breaths, 3 rounds of breath, Sama Vritti, or you can extend the arms as you inhale. Exhale, bend the elbows. So whichever one you're doing, stay with your Sama Vritti breath. When you finish your last one, if the arms are moving, keep the arms extended. If the hands are at the hips, keep the hands at the hips. Breathe, and then on your exhale, fold over your front leg. Find your pyramid pose. Both legs should be straight here. You might even bring your blocks to their highest setting if you're using your blocks. Super important for your back heel to be on the floor. That's your right heel. If your right heel's lifting off the floor of your mat, walk it more towards the front of your mat so you can be solid. Remember, your back foot is typically your foundational grounding stability leg. You always want to be nice and grounded here. Breathing here, folding over the front leg. A few more breaths. If you're super comfortable here, you might bring your hands behind your back and hold onto your left wrist with your right hand. This is pretty intense, so be careful. Good. Wherever you are, release the hands to the floor, to your blocks. And then walk your back foot in. So we're meeting in a forward fold, Uttanasana. Soft knees here. Halfway lift. And fold. Let's come all the way up. Take your time. Palms together over heart center. Pause here. Come into your breath. Remembering that Tadasana is the same as child's pose. We're just standing. We find that same sense of settling and reset in the body before we move to the other side. Good, sweeping arms up. Let's lower them down. Hands will come to the hips. Stepping your left foot back this time. Feel nice and solid here. You're not on a tightrope, right? You've got your feet hip width distance apart, more like you're on train tracks. Good, hips are pointing towards the front of your mat. You're not turned at all to the side. And then come halfway over. Pause. Find what feels best for you. The hands can be at the hips or the arms in line with the ears. Press into the earth, come on up. Good, 2 more. Try not to grip your toes. Good, we're gonna come over halfway and hold. Remember, hands can stay at the hips, or you can be extending the arms in line with your ears. We'll find our 3 rounds of breath. Inhale, reach the arms. Exhale, bend the elbows. Sama Vritti. When you finish your 3rd one, we'll meet in our forward fold, in our full pyramid, folding over your right leg. Check in with your back heel, make sure it's grounded. Might be different on this side. And then if you're holding onto the wrist, this time you're holding onto your right wrist with your left hand. Don't hold your breath. Maybe trying and playing with equal inhale to exhale here. Not easy. This is a very powerful pose. When you finish your third breath, we'll meet in Uttanasana, forward fold, walking your back foot in, soft knee. Good, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Let's come all the way up. Fold forward. Halfway lift. Downward facing dog. Coming to our flow here. You can skip the flow and just hold in dog pose. We'll meet in Balasana, child's pose. Take your time getting there. Good, yogis. We're going to come into a little flow here from child's pose. If you're using a block or a book or you've got a blanket, you want to bring your knees and your feet together and bring your forehead to your block. Arms will come down by your side. If this is not comfortable for your knees, your hips, you can always take a blanket and wedge it behind you so that you have a little bit of support and you're creating some space between the knees and the hips. Good. Arms are by your sides. Inhale, come up onto your knees, sweep your arms out to the sides and look up. Palms touch. Exhale, head stays quiet, come straight back down, forehead to the block. Good, inhale, up onto the knees. If this is bothersome for the knees, I forgot to cue your blanket, you can grab your blanket, take care of your body. Do 3 more, Sama Vritti breath. When you finish your last one, we'll meet. Forehead on your block. Good, just keeping your body quiet, turn and look to the right. Just let the head settle here. It's a very gentle stretch for your neck. Come back to center. And then turn and look to the left. Same thing, let the head settle. Come back to center. Do that one more time on your own. Just taking a breath or 2 on each side, making sure that you let the body be nice and quiet and settled. Good, and then from our little bug pose, we'll come into tabletop, come onto 4s. Take it back, downward facing dog. When you're ready, walking your feet up to your hands into forward fold, no rush. Halfway lift. And then fold. Let's come all the way up. Palms together over heart center. Relax your arms and swing it out. We're just going to do one more standing pose series, triangle pose. And I'm going to have you guys turn and face the mirrors. Everybody bring your feet wide distance apart and parallel. And you might bring a block on either side of your feet just so that you have them close by. Good, yogis. Turn your left foot in. Turn your right foot out 90 degrees. And feel stable here. If you feel wobbly, walk your right foot out to the right a little bit. Arms come forward, up and out. Shoulders are relaxed. Good. Looking out over the horizon. So straight out over the horizon, towards the mirrors if you're in studio with me. As you inhale, extend through your arms. As you exhale, come into the pose and turn and look at your foot. We're coming into the neck a little bit here now. As you inhale, come on back up, straight out. Exhale, turn and look at your foot. Let's do one more. Think about rotating on the axis of the neck. Hold here. Extend your top arm, your left arm, towards the front of your mat. As you exhale, turn your head and look out over the horizon. So now I'm pointing my nose back to where I kind of started. Good. Inhale, look down and reach. Exhale, turn and look. You guys are looking towards the mirror. Yep, good. Last one. Inhale, reach. Get nice and long here. Reach through your fingertips. Press into the pinky toe side of your left foot. And then open the arm up. Optional now to look up at the fingertips if that's comfortable for your neck or any other of the positions that works best for you. Bend your left elbow. Bring the back of your left hand to your sacrum. And really open the shoulder up. So find a nice twist. Think about turning. That's it, guys. Right rib cage up towards the ceiling. Beautiful, Candace. Nice, Melissa. Lovely, guys. Find triangle. And press into the earth. Come all the way up. Nice work, guys. Bring your feet to parallel. If you want to work your arms, keep the arms extended. We'll turn the right foot in. We're coming into the other side right away. Left foot comes out 90 degrees. Looking straight out. Inhale here, exhale, come into the pose, turn, and look at your foot. Optional to come into Sama Vritti breath here. I'm asking you guys to do a lot, so you might just focus on the breath, come back up to center, and the movement of the head. 2 more. Thinking about turning from the back of your head as opposed to your nose. When you find your third one, we'll hold. Good. Looking down at the floor. Inhale, reach your top arm towards the
mat, in the studio, you're towards the back of your mat. As you exhale, open up, turn and look at the horizon. Inhale and reach. Exhale, turning from the back of your head. That's it, Terry, good. Last one, inhale, reach. Turn and hold. Optional here, you can look up at your fingertips, stay looking at over the horizon, or to your foot. You'll bend the elbow on the top arm, that's your right arm, bring the back of your right hand to your sacrum and really open up here. Think about turning and smiling your left rib cage up towards the ceiling. Good, ready to release now. Sweep the arm back up, press into the earth, come all the way up. Bring your feet to parallel, hands to your hips. Let's take a forward fold. This should feel really nice. Visarta Padottanasana. And maybe walk your hands way out, coming into a meet and greet dog. Inhale here as you exhale, tippy-toe your fingertips to the left. Draw your right hip back. So I'm getting a nice stretch into the right side of my body. Come back to center and make your way to the right. Same thing. As you tippy-toe to the right, you're drawing your left hip back. And then we'll keep tippy-toeing to the right. Pivot on the ball of your back foot. You're finding your lunge once again. This is our last flow, guys. Step it back. Downward facing dog. Optional to come through your vinyasa here if you'd like. We'll meet in child's pose. Taking a few breaths in Balasana before coming onto your backs. Take your time, no rush. Eventually making your way onto your backs. Good, and drawing your knees into your heart, hug your knees into your heart, give yourself a squeeze. And we're going to come into a twist, bringing your arms out into a T, letting your legs come up and over to the right. Taking some nice deep breaths into the left side of your body. When you're ready to come to the other side, eventually lifting back up and taking your twist to the other side. No effort here, no overworking, just starting to unwind.
You're ready to make your way back, coming onto your backs. Just taking another 30 seconds or so to a minute to move or breathe or adjust, however feels best for your body. We'll begin to transition and make our way to the most important posture of your practice, believe it or not, is Shavasana. Because it allows your body to absorb all of the work that you've done, not just physically, but energetically, emotionally, even spiritually. This is a spiritual practice in its own way. Make sure you're comfortable, you're warm.
So the up or down?
Shavasana, so you're going to lay down and rest.
Okay.
Yeah. And if it's not comfortable to have the legs straight, you can always bend your knees, place your feet onto the floor, and take your feet nice and wide apart and let your knees fall together so you don't have to hold them up. Swallowing now so your soft palate releases back. Letting your jaw release from behind your ears so that your teeth gently part. Tongue resting in the bottom of your mouth. Feel the whole front of the body. From the tips of your toes to the belly, heart center, top of the head. Feeling the whole back body, back of the head. Space between the shoulder blades. Sacrum and heels. Resting here now. Remember your breath. Taking a deeper breath in now. And let it go. Perhaps another deeper, longer breath in and just let it go. Slowly bringing some movement back into your body. We'll come into one of the movements that we did at the beginning of our practice, just to kind of check in with the body. If you prefer to stay still, you're more than welcome. If you're ready to move, sweep your arms overhead, let them rest on the floor behind you. And just here, notice how the body feels. The arms were way off the floor at the beginning of practice. Are they closer to the floor? Is it more comfortable? As you inhale, extend through the arms, reach towards whatever's behind you, and then exhale, soften. Just do that 2 more times. Inhale and stretch. Softening on exhale. Last one. Bringing arms back down by your sides, maybe hugging knees into heart center. Eventually drawing your knees into your heart. Shifting over onto your side and rest, pausing there for a moment. Making sure you're supporting your head with your arm or your blanket. Eventually using the strength of your arms. Press yourself up to a comfortable seat, and we'll just take a moment with a sense of peace and quiet from our Shavasana to a more upright and wakeful pose so that we can take that peace with us as we leave the studio. Taking just a moment to notice the quality of your breath and the state of your mind as a result of your practice. Great work, yogis. Namaste. 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 If you guys want to unmute yourself and beam out, say goodbye.
Thanks, Joan. It's fantastic.
Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Joan. Great class.
Thanks, Ed.
Namaste. Thank you. That was brilliant. Thanks.
Thanks, Joan.
Thanks, April. Glad you guys made it in.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Chris.
Bye, Joan. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Thanks, Donna.
Bye, Joan. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Amy. Have a great weekend, guys.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.